Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. And today we need to have a serious talk about a galaxy far, far away. Yeah, it's Mandalorian and Grogu. Yeah, this movie slammed back into theaters, marking the franchise's big return to the silver screen since 2019. This movie earned roughly $102 million domestically and $165 million globally over the 4-day Memorial Day weekend. It is currently ranked as the lowest domestic opening for a Star Wars film since Solo, a Star Wars story back in 2018. Now, for those of us that grew up with the original trilogy, you know, the Gen X crowd who remembers, when a Star Wars movie was a tectonic shift in pop culture, a theatrical release used to mean something mythic. It was a cultural event, a cinematic milestone that defined a generation, capturing our childhoods with pure, absolute magic. This weekend, on opening day, there was none of this. So what happened? But looking at this new Star Wars movie, you have to ask yourself, what happened to that classic episode 4, 5, 6 nostalgic feel? Or where's the hype? Where is the love that knowing that we are about to watch something that was going to live on with us forever? What happened to making a movie that not only could stand alone on its own merit and yet fit into a structured universe and timeline that Star Wars fans can embrace and love forever? Somewhere along the line, the franchise traded in the grand, epic weight of cinematic storytelling for the comfort of safe, predictable corporate product. Instead of forging a bold new path, this movie feels like a calculated move. It feels like it was designed to stabilize fan expectations. It relies heavily on modern Disney-era methodology rather than the timeless opera magic that George Lucas gave us back in the 1970s and 1980s. It's fun, sure, but it feels less like a theatrical event and more like fodder for the endless Disney content mill. So the setup, the crew, and the creatives for this movie are just kind of meh, you know? So let's break that down and see exactly what we are dealing with here. Now, behind the camera, for the first time since 2019's The Lion King, director Jon Favreau steps back into the theatrical director's chair. I actually like Jon. I have enjoyed many of his movies like Elf and Iron Man. So going in, I had high hopes for this movie. By creating the next ultimate Star Wars movie, here I am thinking that his name will live on in infamy for decades to come. But yeah, that's not happening. The writing team for this movie is Jon Favreau himself, alongside Lucasfilm's chief creative officer, Dave Filoni, and Noah Clore. Yeah, you know, honestly, I'm not going to touch this one at all because I'm definitely not drinking the same Kool-Aid that they are. Now, Pedro Pascal returns as Din Djarin. Well, the voice of him anyway. He delivers his signature stoic performance with a brief flash of face and body armor. The true hero here is Brendan Wayne. He's the beefy Mandalorian with all the killer John Wick moves. And Grogu is back, obviously, his name's in the title, and he's acting as adorable and puppet charming as ever, as we saw him back in Christmas of 2019. So why do you want to change anything that's making billions of dollars of merchandise? Sigourney Weaver joins the fray as Colonel Ward, Mando's New Republic handler, who gets a few decent piloting moments. And she did have some badass mama moments in this movie, and that was kind of about it. I was really hoping to see more of her, but meh. Now, Martin Scorsese makes a bizarre, easy paycheck vocal cameo. He plays an intergalactic food truck vendor. Honestly, Disney, you should have just stuck with Steve Buscemi. For his voice acting skills and his comedic chops, fans would have probably enjoyed this movie a lot better. But hey, I guess you finally had to pay up to Martin Scorsese for something that you owed him decades ago. Jeremy Allen White voices the adult Rada the Hutt. You know Rada, Jabba's son from the 2008 animated Clone Wars movie. Except now, Rada isn't a lazy crime lord. He's an English-speaking gladiator who looks like he's been slamming creatine and hitting the gym to break the family cycle. He's jacked. Now, Disney, hey, maybe I missed CGI 101 back in the 80s, but the depth of scale that was used for this character is just something is just not right. You're gonna have to watch the movie for yourself to see what I mean here. The basic narrative shifts gears here, away from the grand Imperial remnant Thrawn setups, and leads into a gritty underworld story. Mando is working for the New Republic to round up Imperial warlords, and quickly devolves into a multi-tiered quest involving the Hutt twins, gladiator arenas, and swamp leviathans. You know, the typical cut and paste bullshit. Now, don't fall for the nostalgia bait trap here. Dave Filoni's fingerprints are written all over this, meaning the film is packed with live action debuts for animated characters like Zeb Aurelios and the bounty hunter Embo. So if you're a hardcore fan of the animated shows, you know, you're going to cheer, you're going to enjoy it. But if you're an old school movie fan, you're just going to be feeling alienated and confused. The biggest saving grace for this movie by far is Ludwig Göransson's music score. It is fantastic. He blends heavy, nostalgic 80s sci-fi synths into the orchestral landscape, invoking the exact kind of retro vibe that I wish that the actual script had committed to. Well, the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, in my humble opinion, will not stand the test of time alongside the other great pulp culture classics. It's gonna fail to cement itself in pop culture lore and history. My verdict here, honestly, is it's written like a multi-tier fetch quest video game rather than a cohesive cinematic film. You know, every time Mando arrives somewhere, someone's asking for a favor, leading to another planet, and then asking for another favor. You know, this movie has two distinct halves that makes it feel incredibly episodic, resembling a high-budget TV series or movie like The X-Files rather than a true cinematic epic. Furthermore, it suffers from the thousands of Star Wars canons that are out there and glaring logic gaps and predictable patterns. You know, the inconsequential narrative here is that it does nothing to advance the broader galactic plot. There's no mention of Thrawn, no real stakes of the New Republic era, and the second half loses all of its thematic potential regarding fatherhood and legacy. You know, it's just downright lazy movie scripting. The movie features some goofy plot armor. So, for example, at one point, the Hutt strip Mando of his helmet, right? And then they make a comment saying that it's worth a fortune on the black market. Then they drop Mando into the Leviathan monster pit while he's still wearing his expensive Beskar armor, and then politely toss his helmet back down after him, basically because the movie rules say that he can't show his face. Combine that with Grogu, who at times is the smartest character on the screen, and then he turns into an infant child. He has the Force and he knows how to use it, well, for the most part anyway, and he can also magically track Mando's location across the galaxy. And then Grogu has the healing power ability to spontaneously heal Mando. And then his kryptonite to food kicks in. Look, this movie has its moments. The opening sequence, for example, in which Mando infiltrates a snowy base and then takes on a trio of AT-ATs, is genuinely great. The first half is fast, it's creative, it's incredibly fun. But the second half drags. It slows down a movie that didn't have much to say in the first place. This movie leaves you with a strange feeling, you know, where it's not bad, but it's completely disposable, it's safe, it's unsurprising, and it's unchallenging. You know, during the showing of this movie, a guy a few rows back from me literally fell asleep, and then he started snoring loudly. You know, basically his body stayed conscious, and his brain drifted off into a galaxy far, far away. And honestly, it's hard not to blame him. So if you're looking for a few hours of harmless, whimsical escapism to forget about the real world, well, The Mandalorian and Grogu delivers exactly what you need. But if you're looking for a film that redefines Star Wars cinema or stays with you long after the credits roll, this isn't the way. So for me, I give this movie a solid 6 out of 10. It's a perfect, what I call, popcorn flick. that lightens the pressure for future Disney Star Wars films, but ultimately the movie is just another corporate training video for the Disney content mill. So what are your thoughts on this movie? Leave your thoughts in the comment below. Hey, thanks for listening to me rant. I greatly appreciate it. Please help out the channel. Leave me a comment down below. Like and subscribe for more grab your popcorn movie reviews. And as always, turn off your damn phone and just watch the movie.